Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. Today we are actually starting out with our photos laid out, and I'll tell you why. So I have recently gone through all my photos and I have been trying to figure out what I have printed still left to scrap and what I need to print. Well, I only have about 8 to 10 layouts worth of photos printed, so I really need to get on printing some more photos. But with that being said, I'm really making an effort to go ahead and get what I have printed scrapped. That way these photos don't get lost or get misplaced or just get shuffled around continuously. So this layout is actually from 2018. This is going to be a summer layout, and I am participating in Audrey Yeager's summer scrapping series. She's done it for I think the last 3 years, and I've participated the last 2 years, I think, if that's correct. I will try to link videos down or in the iCards and down below if I have the ones from where I participated before. But basically, we are doing some summer scrapping. There was a week in July and a week in August, and there are multiple different people participating as well as Audrey. Audrey creates a layout every day of the weeks that this is scheduled for, and then each day a different person is also participating. So I am participating today on Monday. I think we're the 24th, I think is what today is. I am so lost as far as time. So these photos are when my older sister came to visit with her 2 boys, and so we did a lot of running in the sprinkler, hanging out at the pool, dancing around the house. And then I have 2 photos of a photo of Kaylin and Leilani, which is his best friend, when they went to the zoo, and then a picture of Leilani playing softball. We used to go watch her games. And then this is a little ticket that Kaylin wrote me. He said, "You are so bad, like a donkey and like a shark." And it says, "Haha, you are bad." And then that's where she started to write that. So I thought I might include that if possible. I don't know if I'm going to do a flip pocket or whatnot. So this is kind of what we're starting with. This is my summer layout for the summer scrapping series, and I have pulled my Elle Studio June 2020 kit to work with. Now this is all I have left. There's not a whole lot. I have a couple die cuts and I have a couple cards. The particular reason, or the reason why I chose this particular kit, is because I only have 3x4 pockets that I need cards for. And instead of using a kit that still has a lot of 4x6s, I decided to go ahead and try to use a kit that doesn't have a whole lot in it. And this one just has a good variety of 3x4 cards left, so I do have a lot to choose from. And I decided to also go ahead and pull out my July 2020 kit from Elle Studio. Typically what I do with my Elle Studio kits is I try working with them kind of in order, sort of, and then whatever I have left in one kit I kind of roll into the next. That's kind of how I work with it. I'll show you another example of that here. This is 2017 kits that I was starting to work with. I have February and July, and I think a few remnants of January as well. So these are kind of like the leftovers of all 3 of those kits together in this one little bag. So that's what I'll continue to do with these. I kind of took a break from my Elle Studio kits. I do have a lot of 2018 and 19, or 2018. I kind of took a break in 2019 and kind of just started back into it in 2020. So that's why there's kind of a break in some of the kits. And then I do try to utilize them in their fullness if at all possible. So that's enough yapping. Let me go ahead and get sorted out which cards I'm going to use. I may have to pull a couple from here. I haven't decided yet. I really haven't decided what cards I'm going to use. I'm going to utilize the die cuts, and then I have an array of other supplies just sitting on my desk. These are just lots of random little bits of things, lots of sticker sheets and scraps and stuff like that. So we'll utilize what we can, and I will kind of tell you what supplies I pull from if I end up adding a lot. All right, let's get going. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is lay out all the die cuts from the kit, as well as take a look at the cards and pick which ones I'm going to use for this spread. When I am doing pocket layouts or project life layouts, I always start with the cards and kind of spread those around and then embellish. So I was immediately drawn to this card that had all the file tabs, so I went ahead and picked out the purples to go with that. And then I didn't have any more purple cards, so I was trying to figure out what to do with this last card, and I wanted to create some sort of flip pocket or something with those hand-drawn elements from my son So I'm kind of playing around with a couple of different ideas. What I decided to do is trim down these little pieces and just use the one where he drew the picture and layer it on top of the card that says on this day in June. And this card is not actually part of the kit, but it is one of those additional items that you get whenever you purchase from Elle Studio. Each time you purchase, they send you, and I don't know if that's only a 2020 thing. I know she's done it in the past. I just don't know how, like when it became a consistent thing. It may have always been a consistent thing. I just don't remember. But you get like the month card. And so that's what I'm using here on this one. I always put it with my kit because typically I'm doing pocket layouts with these cards. So having the month kits actually works out really well. Okay, so I've zoomed in a little bit so you can see me create each card a little bit closer up, but this is going to be a little bit of my new format, I think, when I'm doing Project Life, so you can see each card a little bit better. I work on the layout as a whole, but I pretty much go from one card to the next, but I have the entire layout sitting next to me so I can kind of see what's coordinating and what's working from there. And I usually use a lot of the journaling tabs or little labels to do my journaling. Now, I do really like printed journaling, but when it comes to Project Life or pocket layouts, I find that it's just easier to handwrite my journaling because I'm doing a lot of different pieces of journaling on different cards and different photos. Now, I do, in this particular layout, I am going to have one card with a lot of journaling on it, so I could have typed it, but I stick with just the handwritten journaling, and I'm going to have some journaling woes here in a bit that I will share with you. But we're just going from card to card and embellishing. And I am going to embellish my 4x6 photos. Even though I don't have any cards in those pockets, I'm going to embellish those photos, which you'll see us work on here in just a moment. I am cutting out a little bit of the extra like finagling that you're going to see me doing because I seem to do that a lot with this layout for whatever reason. I fussed back and forth with things. So you're going to see all the actual decision making, but I've cut out a little bit of the like fussing back and forth. For instance, this zoo trip took me about 4 minutes to actually place these alphas down because I kept moving them around and like struggling to line them up and all of that. So I just cut out some of those things just to make the video a little bit smoother to watch and not quite so painful, because it was painful for me to see some of those things when I was, going back and watching it. When I was working on the first card, I went ahead and went through all the die cuts and pulled out all the ones in the oranges, the greens, and the purple tones to kind of use throughout my page. I kept the reds and yellows to the side because they didn't really coordinate with the colors that I pulled out to work on this layout. I let that file tab card really kind of dictate what colors I was going to include in the rest of the layout, and it ended up working out really well. I do have that extra kit right beside me in case I decide to pull from it. And this is one of the first things that I'm actually pulling from my stash to help me finish out this layout. This is the Carpe Diem Home sticker book, and I'm going to use a couple things out of this sticker book as we go through the pages, but you'll see them. The first one is this little arrow. It's like an arrow sticker that looks like a little label, and I just wanted to pull it out to be able to put a little caption here. It just says time to dance. I didn't really have another one that was small enough, and it was just kind of a nice little thing to add. Now I have this die cut that works perfectly with this photo. It says soak up the sun, and this is a picture of the boys sitting on the pool chairs during the pool break, just eating snacks. And I do have another picture of my other nephew doing the same thing here up on the top right corner that we'll actually talk about here in just a second. I wanted to put something on this card with this soak up the sun die cut, but I couldn't quite figure out exactly what I wanted to include. So I ended up pulling out these little washi stickers. This is another thing that I pull from my stash, and there was a purple one with just like a white heart. So I go ahead and put that on the corner. And then I had all these little word strips that were from a 12x12 paper that I have cut apart plenty of times in the past, and I just have little scraps of it left. So I found the word play on a green. I took an ampersand from that same hazel tile alphas that I used on the zoo trip card. And then I'm just going to kind of create a little cluster here, and it has a heart and it says play and soak up the sun. And that's just going to be my little embellishment cluster on this photo. And I just kind of centered it between the two boys. It's not centered on the photo, but it's centered, well, it's almost centered on the photo, but it's centered between the two boys as they're sitting there. And I pull out this Right Now sticker from that same washi stickers. Those are actually from Studio Calico, a kit that I got a long time ago. And I'm going to do all my journaling on this card. And this is where my journaling issues happen. So I am underlining my journaling with a Pentel RSVP pen, and I was doing like one color at a time, one little file tab at a time, because I felt like if I go ahead and write it all, then I might smear it, and so on and so forth. So I kind of make a spelling error on the word laughed there at the bottom of that journaling, and then I smear the other part of the journaling, and I'm like so irritated at this point, but I love this card and I don't have another one. So I think about, you know, maybe layering some labels at the top and kind of covering that up and rewriting it, and then I decide just to pull out some of these enamel dots. I always have tons of the large enamel dots left, but I had the same orange color that's kind of in the center of this card, and I just put it over that large smear. And then I am going to stamp my date using my roller date stamp and put it at the bottom, and then we're going to put a few more enamel dots just to kind of finish off this card and not make that one enamel dot look so weird sitting there. And this is actually going to be the only card that I have the enamel dots on, but this is also the card that's like my major journaling bit, and I reference all the different things that we did that weekend, because this was when my actually the week, I guess, this is when my sister came to visit with her two kids, and they stayed with us for a couple days. So I kind of reference a couple different things that we did while they were here. This is a photo of Leilani, which is Kaylin's best friend, playing softball. She's the one hitting the ball in the pink helmet, which is a little bit hard to see in the video, but in person you can see that pretty easily. Plus, with the journaling here talking about her, watching her play softball, it makes a lot more sense. I generally struggle with journaling on circle labels because I like having lines, so I just kind of wrote it out and then did some little messy lines underneath of it with my journaling pen the same way that I did on my journaling card, so it's a consistent look across the layout. And I'm just going to have that kind of go off the edge of my photo. I tend to prefer labels to be off the edge of the photo or centered on the photo. They don't have to be, but that's just kind of the way that I tend to think it looks good, so that's what I typically do. I am using these Reset Girl little hexagon stickers. I have just a few of them left, but they had a lot of the same colors. There was like a gray and a blue, but I tend to have the blue or the gray kind of hang off the edge and I trim it down, so mainly what you're seeing are the oranges, kind of the pink and purple colors, and yellow, I think. Oh no, it's really just kind of pink and orange and green. And so I'm putting another label right here on the side. Now this is the only label I actually had to pull out of the July kit that I had. It's the same purple tones that were in this June kit, but I needed a bit of a larger label, and I didn't want to use some of the other labels I had because the two photos or the two cards that are right below this one also have like a lot of those tones in them, so I wanted to put a purple element up here just to kind of bring that color across the page. And I used a little word strip from this Carpe Diem Home sticker book. Sorry, Kaylin's waving to you guys. He was talking to you as well, but he didn't realize that I wasn't actually live at this point. And I'm just doing my journaling again, underlining it and having one of those little hexagon stickers. Now this is the other photo of us sitting at the pool, sitting on the edge, taking our snack break at our pool in our neighborhood. Every hour they have like a 10-minute adult swim break. It's also a great time for the kids to take a little bit of a break. And so I'm putting on this card about, it's break time, time for a snack, and then I put very important. But I end up like smushing the word important. So I find in this sticker book, this Carpe Diem sticker book, I find a word strip on the like page that has all the word strips that says important. So I just layer it on top of where I wrote the word important, and it kind of brings another feel to this little journaling spot as well. And I wanted to include another little sticker to kind of fill in that gap on that purple label that's like empty. So look at hearts, I look at the stars, and then I'm going to end up, I'll put the star down, I'll move my hexagons up a little bit so they don't look so crowded, and then I'm going to come back and change that star to a check mark. You can see the little check marks on the sticker book, on that top row of the sticker book sitting there. And I'm sitting here, the journaling is about like, talking about like snack at the pool, and so I was like, check, very important. I thought that fit a little bit better than the star did. Plus it's that same green color. Okay, it's actually the next day. We ended up having a big storm when I was filming this and the power went out, but I pretty much finished everything before the power went out. The only thing I had left to do was to kind of put all the cards back together and decide if there's anything else I wanted to add. I thought about potentially adding these little black rhinestones. I do have some enamel dots on this card, and it's centralized just to this card because of the journaling. I specifically did that on purpose. But I actually don't think I want to add the black rhinestones. I feel like it'll make it a little bit heavy. And you won't even notice them on some of the larger photos because they're a little bit busier. So I think I'm going to end it there. I basically just used my June 2020 kit. I thought I was going to have to pull from a July kit, but I only ended up pulling one die cut, which was this purple. It was the same color purple that was in the June kit, and I just needed another purple or something up here. I didn't want to use green again because I'd already used green so much on the two cards below it. So this is what I have left from that kit. I have a partial label. This was actually cut off of a card, and then the thank you was cut off of the packaging whenever you order from Elle Studio. Then I just have a few die cuts left and a few 3x4 cards. So I'm going to move this into my July 2020 kit and work with that going forward. But that's going to basically be the end of my June 2020 kit. That's pretty much it. I did use my Paper Tray Ink Paper Tray Ink Smoky Shadow Dye Ink and my anniversary roller date stamp from Smash. And I pulled in some Elle Studio Hazel Tile Alpha stickers for the zoo trip, as well as, that's it. Oh no, and the ampersand here. That's what I used it for. And then I pulled in this sticker book. This is from Carpe Diem. It's their home stickers collection. And I used things like this check, heart, and label, and then a couple word stickers as well. Those are all from here. And then I just had a little scrap of paper that had some words on it that I cut out the word play. And then I used up the rest of my Reset Girl little hexagon stickers from an old sticker sheet that I had from the Reset Girl. And that's everything that I used on this layout. Oh, I'm sorry, there is one more thing. These circle stickers are actually from these little, it's like a roll of washi stickers, and I believe this came from Studio Calico. Actually, I'm pretty positive. This is from Studio Calico kit I got a while ago. That finishes out this layout. Let me know if you have any questions. I am going to be posting some still photos here at the end for you so you can see this layout a little bit closer up. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I used, and I always try to link as much detail in the description box below for you to be able to reference in case you have any questions or if you'd like to look at something a little bit further. I will also have some other videos linked for you here at the end, and if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel so you can get notified anytime I post new videos. I do try to post quite often, and I like to include many different types of paper crafting and memory keeping projects such as traveler's notebooks, mini albums, other size scrapbooking such as 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11, and then of course project life or pocket card pages. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you check out all the other people that are participating in Audrey Yeager's Summer Scrappin' Series 2020. There was a week in July where there were a bunch of videos posted, and then there's also this week here in August where lots of videos will be posted. Mine is up first for the week on Monday, but there are many other crafters following in the days behind me. So make sure you check out all those crafters as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!